Hey folks, H2 here, and you're on the F3 channel. Hey, I want to talk about real estate today, and as you well know, that's one of my favorite subjects because it has served me well over the years, and certainly something that you should consider. So just want to get back here on the channel and talk about real estate, and I really want to talk about a couple different areas and my thoughts of them. The first one I want to talk about is flipping, and then I want to compare and contrast that to a buy and hold strategy. So you've probably seen this on television, various channels, a lot of the HGTV shows that talk about flipping. And so what flipping means is that you're, as an investor, are buying real estate or a piece of real estate, a house or a building of some sort, doing some sort of fix up on it and selling it for a profit. And so that can be a very lucrative strategy. As a matter of fact, there's been some recently published articles about some of the profit margins. And so, different places around the country, their profit margin is, something to the tune of 100%. But I think average, it was like 50%. So if you can imagine, if you can buy a piece of property, do some fix up, and then flip it and sell it in a matter of, maybe 90 to 120 days. If you figure that out, how many times you can do that over a year, you could double your money, triple your money, quadruple your money pretty doggone quick. And so certainly something to consider. But in the realm of flipping, here are some of the underlying concepts that you need to consider. In order to flip a property, if you are able to do some of the work, that puts more money in your pocket, or your returns on that particular transaction would be greater. So if you have to hire a contractor, a general contractor, subcontractors, and all those guys to do all the work for you, that's going to cut into your profit. So you have to keep that in mind, and certainly have to factor that in as you go into the deal. Also, the time that it takes to flip a property. So obviously, the longer it takes you to get the repairs and the fix up done, that starts to eat at your return. So if it takes you a whole year to fix that property up and sell it, you're paying monthly, probably the interest on the loan, if you have a loan on that property, and the fact that as more time go by, the fix up will cost you more. I guarantee you. So anyway, you want to get in and get out as fast as you can, and that's how you maximize your profits there. Now, so compare that to a buy and hold strategy, whereby you buy a piece of property, whether it's a single family home, a commercial building, or apartment building, or whatever. You buy something and you are basically holding it over a long period of time, collecting the rents on it. So your profit or your return is slower than the flipping process. However, it takes less of your time and dedication in managing that particular investment. So those are the two strategies that an investor can use in the real estate game in order to build some wealth. Now, in terms of taxes, or so maybe you asking yourself, hey, H2, which one is the best? Well, and the answer is it depends. There are different tax ramifications for both of those strategies. If you're buying and flipping, you are the money that you make on that transaction is like earned income, meaning you're going to be taxed at your individual tax rate, assuming that you're not buying this in a business. Okay, so for some that might not be a big deal, but for others the tax bill could be hefty. So if you're gonna flip, you're gonna need a solid tax strategy. Otherwise, you're gonna do a whole lot of work for very little return, because the tax man is gonna eat you alive. Okay. In terms of the buy and hold strategy, that particular strategy has favorable tax advantages, whereby it could lower your tax, not necessarily, well, for the money that you're making from that investment, and also on income that you're earning from a different source. So it's very juicy, and you can see how or see why people will, use this particular strategy in order to reduce their taxes. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about here is a 1031 exchange. Now there's a lot of information on that, and certainly I can't go into all the nitty-gritty details on this short video, but it's something that you should consider. And basically, a 1031 exchange is a tax saving strategy whereby you take the profits from the sale of one property and roll it over into the next property. And so if you do this over time, you could very well be buying a new property with the proceeds from another property. And so as that sum gets larger and larger, you can move up to bigger and bigger real estate assets. All right, so something to consider. There are some rules and some limitations to how that thing works, particularly the time frame from where you sell one asset and buy another asset. I think the time frame is 6 months. And there's also some other legal ramifications, or at least some legal stipulations that you have to follow if you're going to do a 1031 exchange. All right. So, hey, again, for those of you out there that are looking for a strategy of how to build wealth and how to create some income, those are two strategies in real estate that could pay dividends for you. All right. Hopefully that'll help you. If you got any questions, hit me up in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer them as soon as I can. All right. Hey, H2 going to sign off. You have a great day.